welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for another edition of YBMcast, powered by Game 7 Baseball, game7baseball.com.
There you go. Got it.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
It's always a little rough on the throat. No. It was a great Game 7 weekend, even though the rain tried to disrupt. Again, the fellas came through. There was some folks got to play on Sunday. Some even got to play on Saturday. We were out at C&H on Saturday. We had some technical difficulties. Not quite sure what happened, but we got it straightened around and were able to get out Sunday and stream the championship game. It was just kind of a weird weekend.
Oh, yeah, man. Rain, that whatever came through Thursday, Friday, it dumped a lot of rain. Mm-hmm. I can't believe how much rain. And there was, we had left out at the high school. We left at the rain, I don't know what it
Oh, your rain meter?
Rain meter.
Yeah.
And I think it got 4 inches out there. And
what?
As good as our grounds crew is at the high school, we couldn't play any games out there. I mean, it was standing water still in the outfield. And
Timberland, your field is up high.
It is. And we got a ton of rain up there. So I can't imagine what it was like over at Ozzy's, because obviously they're kind of close. But it seemed like some of the locations did okay. I drove by Chesterfield. I know that wasn't Game 7, but they were playing on
Sunday.
I thought they were playing on Saturday, too.
Just the turf, from what I understood.
It might have been softball, too.
Yeah. So that's from what I understood. So it was tough all the way around, it's one of those weekends. But I'll tell you, a big shout out to JR and Mike and Buddha and all those guys over at C&H, man.
They got it done?
It was
4 a.m. in the morning, what I hear.
Dude, they were playing at 11 o'clock on field. I believe that the outside one is field 3. Isn't that 1, 2? I think that's the 3.
The one closest to the road?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
They were playing at 11 o'clock on field 3.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty good.
Well, from what I understand, they were out at like 4 a.m. trying to get on those fields and get it done.
I believe it. They work hard. They put themselves in a good position. I think it's great. And then 1 and 2 played at noon.
Wow.
So that's, I think, pretty impressive. There was some, there's some slushy parts. You can say, that's just the reality.
If you had white pants on, they definitely had speckles all over the back of them trying to run through the outfield.
Right?
Yeah, we high school had actually Westminster played on Saturday. We had a double dip for Timberland at Westminster, so I know that they got their games in.
How'd you guys do?
Went 2-0.
Did you?
Yep.
Okay.
Beat them both games.
Get on track a little bit there before districts.
We have a tough one tonight.
Oh, yeah.
We get to see Mr. McCutcheon and Norfleet and those guys at Howe. But we are...
Yeah, that's your last GAC.
Yeah. We are... I think we're the only ones left, from what I understand, to play.
You are.
It is us versus Howe. So it should be fun. It's a big week for us. We have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We play games. So...
Well, and then, I mean, that's pretty good going in, a week from yesterday is districts. So we're there, right?
Yeah, we had SLU last night, Howe today, Howe tomorrow, DeSmet on Thursday.
Wow.
So we've had a nice little 6-game
How'd you do against SLU?
We beat them.
Did you?
9-2, yep.
Okay.
We played at BMAC, and BMAC.
I saw the picture you put on Facebook. BMAC, man, that looked nice.
Yeah, and apparently
Is that the one... as you're walking toward the back, is it on the left? Is that the one? It's on the right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. They only have the one grass field. I played on that for years growing up. They never had, obviously, fences. You had to hit it over the levee for a dinger. Yeah. And then they wouldn't let you chase it on the levee because there was floodwaters behind it. So now they have this thing looking beautiful. And, the head coach, Coach Hollander at Duchesne, I think that's now their home field. I know the Patriots high school team, the Ed Holden school team, they play on both fields as well. We saw Pattonville and Northwest there last night. Man, that field is it's nails. It looks really good.
It did look nice in the picture. I mean, wow.
As soon as they got done, they redid the field. They did all the line work. They raked it. And they had a little grounds crew doing it, not a typical high school group doing it. So that field looks good. So any of these high school boys, these 14U and older, and you get a chance to go to like Pattonville or Duchenne or wherever you're going, you're going to get a chance to play on a really nice field.
And they got lights there too, right?
They do. And even the skin field that's across from it, that I guess that might be field 1 or 2. It's one of them. They even put fences around it now.
Yeah.
And they got fences around several parts of the field that they didn't have before.
Yeah, because it was all just open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
BMAC has grown from just even 5-6 years ago. I mean, I played there last year. They didn't have the fences around all the other fields with the freshman group when we played the Patriots. So
yeah, because I remember when the last time Justin, it was just like you were talking about. It was wide open. You're chasing balls forever. And just
at least the flooding was gone when Justin played there. But it was. There's a really nice pond back there, by the way. If you're in right center field on the grass infield, that's got some nice bass in it. So if you're a dad or a mom or even an athlete that likes to fish, do it at night because I think there's signs up there.
It said, "Don't fish." No, now don't tell people to go. Oh man,
it's only illegal if
Let's
you
get
caught.
to baseball.
Okay,
stop that. No, it's not. The sign says don't do it.
Well, if you come in from the other side, there's no sign.
Oh, okay. There you go. Oh, you're not supposed to.
Don't listen to me whatsoever. I'm a rebel.
Let's get into this Mother's Day Classic. Again, like we said, Game 7 did a great job. They got a lot of people up and going at Woodlands on Sunday. The people that opted in, the 7U machine pitch. They got a championship game in there. The Missouri Gators, Coach Eubank's squad, won the championship there over the Midwest Rebels, 15-9. And then in the 8U machine pitch, he had 6 teams. And I hadn't seen this before. The Sugar Fire Fury, I'd never seen those. They're out of Wentzville. But nonetheless, so we digress. They got into a championship bracket. They had a 4-team championship bracket. Rawlings Tigers coming up on top there over the Missouri Mambas, 19-17, the old slugfest.
That's a slugfest. I can't speak the English right now.
Yeah.
That Sugar Fire Fury team, I believe, is coached by Rick Youngerman, who was a former former Howell baseball coach. I know that the coach on there
that's the 9U because this is Matt Martin, but I think it is correct on the 9U.
Is it on the 9U?
I believe
I'm trying to
so.
I think his son's pretty young. Anyways, I think that group out of that they got a little small, little independent kind of thing. I've known Rick for a long time, and I know that his boy has a Sugar Fire shirt on, Fury. So I just thought that because he's a young kid, that's his
John
age group.
Ewing.
Heck, he might even be younger.
That's the team administrator. So it might be, when you look at the rosters, it's always got the kids' names. Oh, there's a Dick Herber, Crosby Dick Herber.
We have one.
Yeah. So that's probably a little, maybe it is. I'm going to go to the rosters. I always like to look at this stuff because I think it's interesting, right?
He's not on that one either. So I was wrong again. Don't listen to me.
No, it's always interesting. I like to see who's out there. I think especially when it comes to some of the independent stuff here that you're seeing, it's always good to see that because you had 8 teams in this, and it came down to they got in a nice championship bracket because they were over at C&H, got in some games on Saturday. Les again started at noon, the 9U, and the Montgomery County Bombers.
Yeah.
Coming all the way over and beating the Midland Bandits in the championship game. But the Bandits got there by beating the Nationals 6-3, and Montgomery beat the O'Fallon Athletics. That is O'Fallon, Illinois.
Gotcha.
So you got some teams traveling around here, coming in from different areas.
Is that Bandits team, Mayor's Bandits team, or is that an actual 9U team?
That is Coach Haynes.
Haynes? Okay.
Yeah, Coach Haynes.
I know that Mayor plays up some. Mayor's Bandits 8U team plays up 9U. They've done a good job.
10U out at Woodlands for one day got in some games, and they got a championship game in there. St. Louis Naturals, Coach Dinwiddie's squad took care of the St. Louis Pros 11-10 in a slugfest squeaker. I like that. 11-10. Love that. And these games were pretty competitive all the way through. Nothing outlandish. A 9-6 game. Diamond Stars over St. Louis Force. The Pros beat St. Louis Thunder 10-5. The Red Hawks beat the Diamond Stars 8-5. Dinwiddie's Naturals beat the St. Louis Thunder 11-6, a 9-8 force over Red Hawks, and a 4-3 Naturals over St. Louis Pros. That was on now that says 3-4. Oh, and then they played again at 2:15 Sunday afternoon. So it was just so the Naturals beat the Pros twice in one-run games to win the championship there.
Yeah, that had to be pretty fun. Because I just think like either way, 1-0 games. I think the intensity is, the anxieties from the coaching staffs and the players have got to be on another level. I'm sure the parents are on the edge of the seats. That 11-10 is just it's back and forth. It's exciting. You're down 3 runs. You're up a run. I'm sure the back and forth is fun. And you can obviously see that with even in Major League Baseball this year, we've had 2 teams come back from down big time, and the Cleveland Guardians and then the New York Mets came back on the Phillies. No lead is safe anymore anywhere.
And here's the other thing, and this is what I look at when we're talking about this, and this is one of the things, and I like to bring this in this discussion here because we're looking at 10U. This is AA. You got the Naturals, you got the St. Louis Pros, you got Missouri Red Hawks, Diamond Stars, St. Louis Force, St. Louis Thunder, all recognizable teams, clubs, and whatnot. The scores here reflect a little bit, and I don't care what you say at the age of 10, you're going to have errors. There's very few clean, just super clean games. It happens, and you're like, yeah. But the development process, I hope, is what we're working towards with these. And in some of these games, that's what I'm hoping to see. And we see some of these closer ball games. You get the good competitiveness is a focus of development of the players at this age group, right?
Yeah, I know that's I don't have we don't have a young team in our organization, so I don't get to be around that age group so much, but I do get to see Gas House's younger groups, PBA's younger teams. I obviously pay attention to Mayor's Bandits group because I'm friends with Steve, and
sure.
I'm watching these guys, and so they talk about these things, and he does talk about there are some really, really talented AA groups out there. And he has seen growth, and that's what that's what they're trying to do is to develop this, play the game the right way. They're not trying to run the kids all over the field because kids can't make the throws, or, if there's a runner at third base and a kid walks, every other coach wants to send them to second base to score those extra runs. They start to eliminate that stuff, and they're starting to guard against it. And I like to see that they're trying to develop these young boys with the IQ of the sport. Because as you see in getting into freshman years of high school, 14U, you have a lot of kids that have not been exposed to high IQ situations, and it's nice to see that there's coaches are starting younger.
And I think whether the success rate is there or not, it is the consistency of the repetition and understanding the game of baseball. And I think that is so necessary, especially at 9, 10, 11.
Oh yeah.
As you said, because we're getting into these high school areas, high school times, and that's something we've talked about is baseball IQ. Just I'm seeing kids, do you know to get as a pitcher, do you know where to go on a cut throw? Where are you supposed to be? If you're going to buy a ticket, go sit in the stands. Is the old adage. You want to watch, buy a ticket and go sit down. Otherwise, be part of the game. And I don't think those things are horrible to say. I just don't. You have to understand that you're part of the game no matter what's going on. You have a role to play.
There's always going to be a situation, right, in a game where a missed backup opportunity is going to cost you a run or two, a potential out. It happens at these youth age groups more often. And so, guys struggle with picking baseballs or whatever, they overthrow a cut man or something like that. And it happened to us this past weekend on the 14U side. And I'm literally looking at the guys and go, why do we practice these things if you're not going to do them? I didn't have my first baseman in cuts. I didn't have my third baseman in cuts. And we wonder why, and we did not play terrible.
Right.
But those moments gave up the batter going from standing at first base to now being on second base, because nobody's there. My outfield did a good job of throwing a cuttable ball, right? But the infielders did not do their job.
Now here's an outlier, and I believe this very much. But Josh Cranwetter has his 11U clutch team. They went 3-0 again this weekend, and playing good competition. Missouri Gators, two Missouri Gators teams, and a Rawlings Tigers team. All good teams, but this is where he has a group of kids that are very good, and I know Josh works very hard at what we're talking about, the fundamentals, how you work and how you do it. And his team plays very clean baseball at 11U. And it shows because he will move his team up into the 12U, and he's done that quite often around here, and win tournaments and be in the top, of those tournaments. So that shows you it's more than just size and strength. It's how the fundamental aspects of the game are being brought to bear.
Oh yeah, he's going to push too.
Yeah, I mean he does.
He has built a culture for his group, for his team, and the parents have bought in, and so when you buy into that culture, obviously good things can happen, and he's doing it. I mean, how he got those boys early on and they stayed together. Hats off to Coach and the parents for believing in something much more than just wanting to bounce to a name or whatever, some decisions are made. But I think that's a team, if they can stay together, is going to be like Dave said many moons ago on this show, that they're going to be a team that you want to watch for the next couple of years.
Absolutely. And we'll have some fun watching them. I'm sure they will travel and play well in other opportunities and as it moves on. So the Clutch went 3-0. The Missouri Gators, Rawlings Tigers, and Missouri Gators all 1-2. They kind of beat up on each other a little bit.
That was that Cranwetter was at the 11U major this weekend, or
it was 11U triple A major. So it wasn't. So the 12U double A. Again, if we say 12U, it's double A. Again, we'll make the distinction. But 12U, you had the Naturals going 2-0. It looks like they all got in 2 games. You had the Silex Bombers. I think they came down from, I think that's an Illinois team. Silex, Missouri. Excuse me.
North of Troy.
North of Troy?
Yeah,
okay.
And I'm not sure if they're associated with that Mid-Missouri Bombers group or that Montgomery City Bombers. I'm not sure if there's any connection there. I mean, they're not too far apart. If you take, 19 kind of across, it's in that area. So I'm not sure if they're associated with that group or not.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's an independent, small independent.
Again, you had some good games, 6-3, 14-7, 8-4. There was a couple that got away there, but nothing, outrageous. But St. Louis Naturals, Silex Bombers, both 2-0 in that 12U. In the 13U, we had, again, this was over, I believe, in O'Fallon, Illinois at the sports park there. They moved that one over there. So they got in all one day, Sunday. Midland Bandits, I love the SEMO Tropics. Just love that. Just Tropics.
Have you seen their uniforms yet?
I got to go check these guys out.
They are like baby blues and pinks, and I tell you what, they did a really nice job on their spirit wear. Like we saw some of the sisters on the team wearing the sublimated uniforms and hoodies and stuff, because it was a little chilly and windy in the morning. But I did ask them, by the way, if they were, because we had this conversation before about there's a Tropics team in the Montclair baseball, which is adult baseball. They are kind of connected, but they obviously operate separately.
Right.
So they kind of feed off each other. And I didn't ask if one of the dads plays on that Tropics men's team or not, but they're bright. They got palm trees.
And I love this because, again, here we are. We look at these Sunday games. There's a 6-1 game, a 4-2, 3-3, 2-3, 5-1, 6-4. There's a couple of them with some big scores. The SEMO Tropics beat Midland Bandits twice there at the end of the day to win the championship, taking care of that. It looks like they have more pitching. The Tropics looks like their pitching just held out. They swing the bat well, evidently, because their runs against were only 3 or 4. Midland Bandits runs against in pool play was only 3. But yet, SEMO, they still had those bats going, winning the championship game and taking care of the Midland Bandits. Coach Meander's team.
Yeah, we were
Minders. Is that Minders? I believe it's Minders.
We were playing when that group was going on, and the Tropics team, they did a nice little job swinging it.
Yeah.
They got some nice-looking athletes over there, thick kids. And
looking forward to seeing that team.
Yeah.
Hopefully they will get up here. In the 13U AAA major was out at CNH. We saw some of this. Creekmire, Rawlings Tigers Creekmire. You had the Missouri Sticks. Is a 10-team field. RBC 13U National, St. Louis Naturals Hardens team, Troy Thunder, St. Louis Prime, Jackson Tribe out of Jackson, PBA, Whaley's team there, St. Louis Gamers Blue. Some good baseball through the weekend. Creekmire picked up Cole Chambers to play for the weekend from Rollo's team, which that helped them quite a bit. They were right in there, but because that kid is a good baseball player.
He's a dude, man. I tell you, Mr. Chambers is going to be fun to watch over the next couple of years.
Yeah, he's a talent.
But I get to see him often. So
yes, you do.
I'm kind of
biased.
biased.
That's why I was saying. But he is a talent. He is that kind of player. And we'll see how he grows and continues to, the
only reason I give him the love that he gets, he's a high IQ. He pays attention to the game. He likes the history of the sport. He's just not a guy that walks out on the field and just plays. He actually learns. He's trying to learn daily. So
there you go. And on Sunday, it was some good baseball. The Missouri Sticks dropped early to Creekmires 5-2. The Jackson Tribe in the semifinals took care of Creekmire 6-5. Another good game. Troy Thunder beat Randy Manor's Missouri Gators 13-9, and then a 16-7 championship game. The Troy Thunder over the Jackson Tribe. So
that's Troy, Illinois?
I believe so. I believe that is Troy, Illinois. I'm almost positive. St. Jacob, Illinois, which
I'm going to guess is close to Troy.
Close to Troy.
That's why they use Troy.
Right. And then the 14U, which was where you guys were, you did end up playing some ball yesterday, didn't you?
We did.
And
2 days ago, Sunday.
You were over in O'Fallon, Illinois.
Yep, we did. Yep, we got to play on the turf. Outfield actually was in pretty good shape because we played on the two fields that had just the turf infield and natural outfield. So we ran into some buzzsaws at the 14U. We got no hit. In the second game by that Southern Illinois team, that Southern Illinois Prospects team. That's a
and
they
nice
went
3-0.
Yeah, that's a nice little group. I would have liked to have maybe Dave could have helped me out, and give me some different two other teams. But our first game. I'm kidding. I'm not asking for freebies and handouts here. The first game that we played, though, we played that Rogers team that won, a weekend before. We were able to beat them 5-1. They got a good group. That's kind of a local battle for us. We're both
Missouri
from the
Gators,
O'Fallon.
right?
Yep. Rogers team, I believe. We were both from the O'Fallon area, so that was nice. We ran into Southern Illinois, and then we ran into that Shipman kid from the SEMO Cardinals. And he is a guy to watch.
He's a catcher. He's athletic. He's strong.
He hit we probably had a good 25-plus mile-an-hour wind blowing in from left field to plate, and he hit a ball that I thought was just crushed.
Yeah.
And it got up there in the wind, and it just hung up and let my outfielder get there. He made a good play on the catch, but, he's probably a 80, 81 kind of kid he's got a good hook. Coaching staff does a heck of a job over there working with them. He didn't throw a bunch of curveballs. He realized on his fastball and changed. So I got to see the tournament because obviously we got to hang around for a little bit. There was a kid from the Scorpions.
Yeah,
I think
Scorpions
it was.
Midwest, yeah.
The first game that they threw, like I've said before a gazillion times already on this show, the Metro
East?
Metro East, gosh.
Metro East Mavericks, right.
Played them in the first game, and he had come over and seen me, saw that we were here playing, and he'd come over and chat, and he goes, man, He goes, whoever that kid was that threw against us, it's probably the best arm we've seen.
Right.
And he went out and shoved it. And so there's obviously you're seeing teams have a couple of nice pieces, and then some teams that are just really deep. You know, that prospects team, they pull from 3 different small little cities, metropolitan areas, communities, and then that SEMO Cardinals team, they have a draw that has it goes to the high school. Mm-hmm. You know, the little connection that they have. And I'm kind of learning a little bit about just this 14U level. And I even asked that SEMO Cardinals team, I said, so what are you guys going to do for the high school level? And they basically disband. And they've talked about
these. That's the tough thing.
And a lot of teams are doing that. They disband because of whether it's the small town, the different high schools, but Legion is very big
in those areas.
And all the boys go to play Legion ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I'm learning.
Which I think is still fine. I mean, if playing Legion ball,
it's completely different down there, they said.
Yeah.
And that coaching staff down there has got playing experience at the college level. Yeah. And some of them have played, got paid to play. And so having those conversations with them, I just was shocked because it is a good team, and they have a lot of big athletes and athletic kids.
Well, but when we're looking at this, and this is the conversation we've had, and I think this is great because you're looking at, I think the biggest difference here that we're seeing between what we've seen so far this year between the AA and the AAA with the 14Us is just depth, right?
Yes.
There's some really good players on these teams. Like as we go down, we've seen them. We've seen some really good stuff. And I hadn't seen the prospects, but the SEMO, the Metro East, the St. Louis Thunder, your squad, Missouri Gaves, the Midwest Futures. There is talented kids on these teams, but there isn't as much maybe depth as you might see on a AAA major squad. Yeah,
and I think some of that maybe the not only it's the depth overall. I think obviously it's on the bump, the depth on the bump.
Agreed.
Agreed. And the backstops. You can't catch a kid every game, every weekend. At least I guess some teams do. I don't think you should. But the depth at those 2 premium positions. Yeah. And some of my pitching, I shouldn't say backup pitching. Some of my pitching plays a premium position. And I can't always just say, hey, he's a good pitcher. I can't just pull him from that position because I don't have anybody to filter in behind him and that plays the same way.
Yeah.
And so, again, it's depth at multiple positions.
Yeah. Agreed.
The biggest key, though, I see is on the bump.
Yeah.
And watching that prospects team, they threw from the guys that I got the chance to see, I only saw 2 guys throw. They could throw the baseball.
Yeah.
Mid-70s kind of kids. They can control pitches. They did not throw a bunch. And they got it done. I mean, they obviously went 3-0, gave up very few runs. They no-hit us. Shipman, I think we got 1 or 2 hits off of, which was...
And they beat the SEMO Cardinals 9-7, and that was a kind of a slugfest there. But I think the SEMO Cardinals are that kind of team, too, as well.
Yeah.
They're when we saw them in the championship game that they won, they have some good talent there. And I think that's kind of across the board what you're dealing with in that respect.
Yeah, I would, Dave had actually, Dave Penning had come up to me and asked me, he said, what do you think of those teams? Because obviously he got to play both. And he asked me, do they need to move up? Because these are conversations that we have had here. And they're a really, really good AA team. They still made AA mistakes. So do they need to be moved up? I would love for the coaches to go challenge their team. That's just a personal opinion.
That's a tough thing.
But I don't know that they need to go up because I have not got a chance to see
enough. And as we talked about, and I still think that is depth. How do you put those kids up there? Do they have the depth then to go to play a Rawlings Tigers Rollo team? In that respect, or go into that level.
Yeah, I've noticed it too. Is like
Mike Rogers, right, with the St. Louis Naturals.
We have 14 guys on our team. 13 of them. We have 1 kid that actually made his high school team. So we don't have him, but we have 13 guys. We had a kid injured. A kid coming back. That's a pitcher that's hurt. Who had little league arm, and he can't throw for me. So I'm not saying those guys are difference makers on the bump, but that's depth.
Right.
Right.
You can get an inning. Can I get an inning out of that person? Exactly.
And that could change a whole lot. And I'm seeing that more and more is the teams that are a little bigger, 12, 13 kids, are having a little bit more success overall, especially if they're playing 5 games in a weekend.
Something to think about at 13 and 14U, I think, personally. So big shout out to the Southern Illinois Prospects, went 3-0. Scorpions Midwest 2-1, SEMO 2-1, Cardinals and Metro East Mavericks went 2-1 in that. So you guys went 1-2. You showed up good.
Like I said, we played that Rogers team. They threw a guy that hadn't thrown in a while. I actually thought he had good stuff. We found the hole, right? We hit the baseball where they weren't, and they played clean. We played clean, and again, those scores that we had against the Prospects and the Cardinals. We talked about the cuts and relays. We missed so many opportunities there that led to runners moving up, or runners moving up that led to more runs. And so the game, I don't think played the 7-0 and 8-0 or whatever the 2 games were. I don't think they played as bad because we did make diving plays in the outfield. We turned a double play. We picked a kid off. Like, those things happened for us. We just didn't do the smallest things right. And again, it goes back to fundamentals. And I have a group that hasn't been taught that prior to me or been pushed. And so that's why if you ever come and watch a game, I'm always yelling because we have to be in the moment for these guys to make sure we keep their brains
working. All right, want to get through this. I know we're pushing time.
I know.
That's okay.
14U
AAA. We were out there at the weekend, CNH Ballpark. It's a good group. PBA coach Hill's team. Matt Culberson's 314 Apaches. Blake Shadow's Midland Bandits. The Under Armour Prospects, Springer, and the Tribe. And that Tribe was out of, I believe, that was Jackson, Missouri. It was Tribe. AAA squad there. Some good scores, some good baseball games. When we got there, the Apaches had beat Springer's squad 7-5. Midland took care of the Tribe 11-2 and then the Apaches came back and won their semifinals 6-2. So it ended up with the championship game being the Midland Bandits and the 314 Apaches. Now, Justin can tell you, as we're calling this, we didn't see any overpowering pitching, did we? The only kid that I believed had really some, maybe a little extra giddy up on his fastball was the second pitcher for Midland, Grant Young. He had a little bit of gas on that. But these kids were really, so we talk about pitching depth, and even at this level, both kids trying to execute a lot of off-speed. Their fastball everything was worked off. The fastball was worked off of off-speed stuff, breaking balls, change-ups, and things of that nature to keep them off balance. And as it worked. I mean, it was the score shows here 5-3, but I think it was 6-2, wasn't it? Yeah, I believe it was a 6-2 ball game for Midland. They got a strong inning that. But I will say this, and we're talking about this as far as baseball, and to your point, what we saw in the championship game, correct me if I'm wrong, Justin, was really good defense.
It can happen. I think that 14U age group, again, we go back to maturity, right?
Yes.
It changes.
It does.
And I got to see Hill's team, obviously, this winter. Ton of athletes.
Yeah.
Ton of athletes, and they have a big roster. Well, I think a bigger roster than most teams do. And I've yet to see Culberson. I have yet to see Shadow's teams. And I know they've been in some of the tournaments that we've opted out of. Obviously, this time we were playing in 2 different locations. So I haven't got a chance to see the differences of the two. But I can, from just my team to the next, it is maturity in some of these boys, the athleticism, and that IQ.
Well,
that goes along with depth.
What I saw today from those, Sunday from those two teams, good quality coaching. Kids were playing defense. They knew where to go, and they were executing on defense. And we saw some really good plays. I want to bid a shout out to Jamison Forrest. He normally plays third base for the Bandits but I was talking to Coach Shadow before the game, And he goes, I don't know, man. He said in the semifinal, one of his starting players got drilled with a fastball, an 80-mile-an-hour fastball in the knee. I don't know if it was 80, but evidently there's somebody could throw hard.
It felt good, I'm sure.
No, yeah, it didn't. And then he got his starting shortstop was hit in the hand. He actually had to move him to second base, moved him down in the lineup. And then another kid was hit in the hand. He wasn't even playing. So they were,
thin.
Yeah, he was really thin and battled it out, moved his third baseman over. And this young man, Jameson, ball hit up middle pretty hard. He ranged over, and he's a big kid. Ranged over, scooped it up on the glove side, turned on the run, and threw the kid out. Now, at whatever level you're playing, that's a play.
That's a play.
That's a play. There was a lot of defense made on those plays, and a pretty clean game overall. Both catchers did a nice job not letting balls get by them, blocking and whatnot. It was really a sound baseball game, and I really enjoyed watching it. It was some great plays. The kids played very hard, and I love to see those things, and you're really seeing the development process, as we've been talking about, coming through, and I think these coaches are caring about teaching the game.
Yeah, I think they're also letting the kids have a little bit of fun at times at practice too. I mean, where else do you get to range on a ball like that and turn and throw without actually practicing that? I'm sure if they're not outside doing it and, watching it on TV, watching the Javi Baez, Aldrin Simmons guys, that can flash the leather in the big leagues, the coaches are trying to make these plays. The one thing I've learned growing up was the luxury of watching Ozzie Smith. And Ozzie had always talked about they practiced making great plays, talked about making these great plays and stuff like that. And I'm a firm believer in that. We have diving mats, so why don't we have diving practice? The swim move. I had a young man, I got to give a little shout out to Malik. He just got healthy, and he was dead to ride out at third base, and he did a little swim move. I had no idea this young man could even do that. And I'm sitting there, I'm waving him, getting down. I'm literally yelling out loud, "You're hosed." Like I'm like, there's no doubt that you are.
You just got thrown out.
He goes in there and he dives and he goes just like this and sneaks that hand in there just like that. And umpire was all over it and gave the old safe call. The coach from across the diamond was like, "You got to be kidding me." And I mean, like, it's cool stuff that some kids are paying attention and seeing these and then going out to practice it. And then trying to do these things, the Jeter throws, being able to throw off that foot across the diamond, the Manny Machados, the Nolan Arenados, practice making good plays, great plays like that, and you'll never know when
exactly
it happens. Especially a kid going from third to short, right? That's
exactly.
a ball never made it. Well, maybe it's not. I can't say never, but
so big ups to the Midland Bandits, Coach Shadow, his group for winning the 14U AAA. Over Culberson's game squad, good squad there, 6-2 in the championship game. Our top award winner, Levi McCullough for the Midland Bandits, good kid. He got the top award. We had a player of the game from the 314 Apaches, Brady Eisenbath, the other catcher. He played a good game, hit a double, scored their 2 runs in the game. And he did a really good job behind the plate. So well played game. I want to go out up to QTown real quick. Quincy, they've been doing tournaments up in Quincy now for a few weeks, and they had the Dogwood Classic up there, and they had 4 teams in the 12U division with the Midwest Horsemen.
Let's go.
I
like that.
O'Donnell's. It sounds like a pub, right?
I will tell you, so that O'Donnell's group has a group of softball as well.
Oh, yeah?
And they put together some teams.
Okay, well, they were in the championship game. Got beat 6-1 by the Midwest Horsemen, so, okay. And then in the 13U, ended up the Tri-State Sandlot and Gas House Baseball Navy was up there. They went 2-0. They traveled up. Illinois Steel, the Browns, Chatham Braves, Gem City Bombers, Quincy Patriots, a lot of teams from up in that area. So if you're looking for, an opportunity to play some different teams, might jump up there. had a good 13U bracket with Gas House Baseball coming out on top up there in the 13U bracket. That's, one of Coach Green's squads there.
Have you seen his second baseman?
I
recommend you guys go out on Facebook and find that group, and they have posted a little bit of highlights from that young man's weekend. He is all in.
Is he really?
Oh, I mean, leaves his feet on balls hit up the middle. He is a talented young man.
He's all that in a bag of chips.
He is. He's a scrappy little kid too. Like he's not a big bodied athlete. He is scrappy. He's little, but he has zero fear. I never for whatever reason I didn't pay attention, I guess, in the off season. But I'm friends with Earl. I've played against Earl for a long time. Love the guy to death, and he had shared some of these highlights from his weekend. That kid can play.
There you go.
I'm paying attention to that young man.
And they won. They went up to Quincy and won that. They beat the Browns in the championship game 7-6. So it was a good ball game there. So shout out to Coach Green and his Gas House Baseball for winning up there in Quincy.
They got a couple nice kids.
Nice job. And then in the 14U division, Midwest Rage up there, 14U Devils Baseball, Mudcats, Wildcats Baseball, Machine Baseball, Gem City. Again, if you're looking to get maybe a little different view, the Mudcats beat the Wildcats Baseball 8-7 in the championship game. Good baseball there again. Good quality weekend. Got some pretty good scores. Got some that got a little crazy, and they get away from you. Again, depth. We talk about depth at pitching.
I know what it's like.
Of things. Right?
I know when things get away from
you.
you.
And you know that at some point as a coach, as you're coming into that end and you're getting later in the bracket play, and you're like, I don't know if I've got the arms to finish this out, right? That's real, isn't it?
Yeah, if we had a bracket play on our side, I wouldn't have made it. Just because I threw my big arm, I let him throw the whole game. Mm-hmm. He threw 6 innings and threw 81 pitches in 6.
That's not bad.
I think it's a great number-wise as far as numbers. I didn't really want him to throw 80, but he was dealing and just got to let it go. And
he felt good?
He threw 81 fastballs.
There you go.
He couldn't. I'm telling you, poor kid can't. He has the yips in a game when it comes to his off speed, and he has a really good slider and good changeup, and he couldn't throw them. Couldn't find it, so he threw 81 fastballs and gave up 1 run.
There you go. Hey, you know what? Whatever works.
In, out, up, down.
Oh, that's good stuff. So that's the weekend in baseball. I love having the conversation about these teams, and the more we get to know squads, and I think that's why we have to watch some of the lower ages, because as we come up and we're watching the 14Us, as we do with our, when we go out and we do our championship games in the 14Us with the top award, I think it matters more at those age groups as they're starting to move towards high school.
Absolutely, and with you guys doing the GACs now, a lot of these kids will be in the GACs. At least from the area that, obviously not Quincy's not coming down. But
I agree.
A lot of these kids will be playing in some of these top schools. And so you're going to have a chance to follow them. And now getting to see them at 12, 13, 14s and the way they develop.
Absolutely.
And the teams they're developing in, all of a sudden in high school, we get to see them all over again. So don't sleep on this age group, this 13s and 14s especially, with the maturity. And make sure you're letting our kids have some fun out there. Don't be too brutal on them. If anything, help them watch some more baseball and give them some IQ tests at home on the sport. It'll help everybody out.
Yeah, that's why I got to find out who this second baseman is here for Gas House. We pulled it. Did you know that his name there?
I don't think he listed his name.
Because we got a Kyle Reno, Braden White, Rusty Lawson, Elijah Powell, Dominic John.
For some odd reason, I feel like
Roderick
it's Elijah
Tucker.
Powell.
Elijah Powell.
I'm going to look... see if Coach Earl.
Maybe not. I don't know. But you know what? We'll get there. I can hear it.
I don't know. That's a little bit of excitement coming from him. Sorry, I didn't know my sound was up. But look at this thing. I know that I'll share this. It's on Facebook. He's completely left his feet.
We'll have to see if we can get that for you, folks.
I'll
we'll put the link. Shoot me that, and I'll put the link up there.
Is there a Diaz on there?
Yep.
Diaz
Diaz
on his roster. That's most of the people tagged in this, so that's kind of what I was going after here. or Ramirez or something of that nature.
There's Alan Perez.
Not sure. I'll ask Coach Earl.
We'll find out.
Yeah,
we'll find out, because I always like to let's give some shout outs and some right?
Yes.
So that to me is it. Dude, as always, a lot of fun talking baseball. Game7baseball.com. Register your team. A lot of stuff like next weekend is all sold out with the Midland Bandits Invitational, or the Midland Invitational. It's all sold out. So we're looking forward to another great weekend of baseball. Looking to see you guys out there. We'll probably be on that side of it. I'm not quite sure yet. We'll see where everything goes. And where everything's being played. So we'll throw that out there as we get closer, when they get the
brackets released.
Yeah, it's usually they do a pretty good job. It's usually be sometime tonight, Tuesday nights.
Early morning, Wednesday, something of that nature. I know that I have my parents already.
They're checking, aren't they?
I'll know as soon as that thing comes out. We got practice tonight. Before the end of practice, I'll know when our schedule is.
I love that. Love the parents doing that. Yeah.
Well, they're trying to help me out. They know that I'm busy as all get out. His name that was Alan Perez.
Alan Perez.
Yeah,
okay.
I texted Coach
number 17.
And we'll get some of those highlights.
So
because they're legit.
Alan Perez, looking forward to watching this young man grow and become, a baseball player. I think it's going to be interesting where that goes to, and we want to follow these kids.
Yeah,
right?
Heck, well, the thing that brings this up, and I know that we're trying to wrap this show up. If you got some highlights of dudes
Absolutely.
out there, that's just another way to hit that subscribe thing and start sending those messages over to the podcast.
And I want to, now that you mention that, we do have, on our website is a Game 7 upload link. If you've got highlights and things from your kids from a Game 7 tournament that you want, that we're talking about, send them to us. Be happy to do it. We love that kind of thing.
It doesn't always have to be, your team. And
right.
If you see just a great play that you were a part of and you were keeping video, the other team wasn't, then share it. We love to see the athletic plays, and so that's something we can share and talk about on this show or future shows, or whatever happens in the fall. We have to have something to talk about then.
Let's get a top 5 plays of the week.
Let's do it.
That'd be killer, right? If you're out there and you're watching,
I'll tell you,
please.
Mr. Perez probably has all 5 of them. Wait till you see the videos.
And send them to us. We'd love to put them up and do a top 5 from the weekend. I think it would be a great opportunity.
Dingers, homers, or that's the same thing, but big strikeouts.
Dingers and doubles, bro.
Well, that's not what I was going with there. I've just lost my train of thought.
Big plays, diving stops, whatever the case may be. A big punch out.
Big one, yeah.
In a big moment.
Loaded,
bases loaded. You get the punch out and you get love that stuff. I don't mind that, from a pitcher. I really don't. I love the energy. Heck, man, if you're in a tight ball game and you got the bases loaded and you strike a kid out in the inning, you deserve a little fist bump.
Again, we had that happen to us.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, we had a nice little strikeout. A kid loaded the bases, gave up a run, but had a big punch out on one of their big hitters on a called strike 3. So it's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to get a little bit excited about that. And this is, again,
just as long as you're not trying to embrace the other team.
Don't stare them down.
No, it's that's
baseball
the
will come
game.
Back and get you.
That's the game. The emotion of it and whatnot. That's a big moment, and a kid deserves a little fist pump right there. You did good.
Yeah. Yep.
Feel good about it.
Heck yeah.
As always, man.
Yes, sir.
A lot of fun talking Game 7 baseball. Game7baseball.com. We hope to get Dave back next week, and after the Midland Invitational, and then after that we'll be out again for the Armed Forces Day Classic. So we got a great string of baseball coming up here through this early part of May. Looking forward to it. Hey, remember, all you pitchers, keep throwing strikes, and you hitters,
they ain't.
Good advice. And we'll see you next time.
Happy anniversary, Dave.
Oh, sorry. I'm a loser.
I don't know if I smell.